On to North America, and a US judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration's move to strip Harvard University of its ability to enroll foreign students. The ruling follows a lawsuit filed by Harvard, which argues that the administration's decision to revoke access to the Student and Exchange Visitor Program is a violation of law and free speech rights. The administration claims Harvard has not done enough to combat anti-Semitism and address its hiring and admissions practices, which the university strongly denies. The restraining order pauses the government's attempt to remove Harvard from the SEVP database, a key tool for managing foreign students. The legal battle has sparked uncertainty among the 6,800 international students at Harvard, who make up over a quarter of the student body. Many foreign students, including those from China, India and the United Kingdom, are concerned about deportation or being unable to complete their studies. Harvard's international students contribute significantly to the university's finances, with many paying full tuition. The case may eventually reach the US Supreme Court, with Harvard vowing to continue its legal fight. Meanwhile, students face an uncertain future, with some fearing they may be forced to transfer or return home. The next court hearing is scheduled for May the 29th. Well, joining us to discuss these developments is Raymond Vickery, the former US Assistant Secretary of Commerce, who's joining us from Washington, D.C. Raymond, as always, thank you ever so much for joining us. This battle between Harvard and the Trump administration continues to move forward. The latest development, this judge temporarily blocking a ban. But let's talk about this move from the Trump administration. Why are they looking at limiting foreign students from enrolling at Harvard University?
Well, thanks very much for having me, Joshua. It's always a pleasure. This is not just a fight between Harvard and the president. What this is an attempt by the President of the United States to crush opposition to his viewpoint and his power. If he can take out Harvard, then as a leading university, other universities, in his thinking, I believe, will fall into line. Great democracies like the U.S. And India, in cooperation to build peace and prosperity throughout the world, have to operate within a system of the rule of law. And what is going on here is an attempt to circumvent the Constitution of the United States, which clearly provides for freedom of speech, for due process, for equal protection of the laws. It didn't take Judge Burroughs very long to see the unconstitutionality and illegality of this motion and to rule with a temporary restraining order, which requires a showing of irreparable harm. And the irreparable harm, of course, is that Harvard has about a quarter of its students, 27% to be exact, who are from abroad. And if you can eliminate 27% of the student body, along with the other measures that the Trump administration has taken, presumably you can bring them to heel. But again, this is not just about Harvard. This is about taking down opposition in higher education. There is a use of, well, the administration claims to be fighting anti-Semitism. Well, that's very ironic in the view of the fact that the president of Harvard, Alan Garber, is Jewish, has spoken and written about anti-Semitism, and it's just it's a smokescreen. The other point, of course, is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which the administration is trying to do away with. But unfortunately, it's broader than either of these two issues. It's really about retribution. It's really about crushing the opposition and changing the very parameters of the rule of law. So it remains to be seen now what will happen. And of course, The judiciary doesn't have any police or army of its own. And so this is going to be a very, very significant confrontation. And of course, it'll be appealed immediately. It'll doubtlessly go to the Supreme Court, where there is a majority of conservative appointed justices there. But I have every reason to believe that this is such a blatant interference with constitutional rights that Harvard is going not to buckle to this latest onslaught.
Yes, Raymond, we have seen, of course, a drop in funding, federal funding towards Harvard. There's also been incidents with Columbia University as well. But to bring an end to this discussion, I want to raise the question around free speech, and it's something that has been brought up in this topic, also looking at anti-Semitism as well. In this instance, and in this sort of backwards and forwards between educational institutions and the Trump administration, do you think that the line of where free speech is versus anti-Semitism, do you think that's been blurred, or is this just a case of it's what the Trump administration wants and you have to follow exactly in line with what they're saying?
Well, the line between free speech and protection of minorities, anti-Semitism, is always one which is difficult to draw. But here we do not have the kind of situation which would justify infringement on free speech, particularly in the academic setting. You know, there is a Supreme Court decision that says you can't yell fire in a crowded auditorium. It's a restraint. But there's no fire here. What's going on is, as I have said, an attempt to crush opposition. President Trump made it very plain when he was campaigning that he was out after retribution, people who had opposed. So the business about the attacks is clearly an infringement of First Amendment rights to free speech. It's an attempt across the board to eliminate independent thought and criticism. Great democracies, whether they be U.S., India, Western Europe, Japan, cannot exist if you're going to have thought control. George Orwell in 1984 wrote about this. Newspeak, that good means bad, bad means good. And what is going on with President Trump is an attempt to be able to control speech, thought, so that his views and the MAGA supporters will be able to triumph. And of course, Harvard has been a leading academic institution promoting speech on both sides. So sure, there are difficulties, and Alan Garber, president of Harvard, as a leading Jew, has been very sensitive to this. He has said that he has experienced anti-Semitism himself. So the university is doing a good job of defining this line. But that doesn't satisfy President Trump and his supporters, because what they want to do is change the very form of government which we have in the United States. And it's time for other democracies to step up and to assist in terms of insisting upon rule of law, constitutionality, human rights, the right to free speech, upon which the whole enterprise of democracy will fail if those are not protected.
Raymond Vickery, I wish we had more time to speak, but unfortunately we don't. Thank you very much for joining us. That is all for now, but we will be back very soon.